Well, the biggest takeaway was the obvious Porzingas. I was thoroughly impressed with him on both ends of the court. For one, he did it in Madison Square Garden, where he was booed repeatedly. He showed me that he can elevate his game in big moments. He showed poise. He showed calmness in a hostile environment, something that's going to prove to be big in a playoff situation. Now, as far as, and then also, with the score tied 101 to 101, he hit a huge three. So I got everything I wanted to see from Porzingas. Now, on the flip side, as a team, the Celtics, Jaylen Brown needed to play better, but yes, they have three guys who are capable of giving you 30 on any given night. Two guys can give you 20 in White and Jrue Holiday. And so they showed me this starting five is going to be something to be reckoned with. But the thing that bothered me, and I know it's early, they still have to develop some chemistry. Offensive rebounds. They gave up 18 offensive rebounds to the Knicks. They gave up, I don't know, 18 threes to the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks are not known for being a three-point shooting team. But on the flip side, the good thing is they found a way to win in a hostile environment, but they're still trying to develop their chemistry in their starting five with Jrue Holiday and Porzingas. So I liked a lot of things, but there's still some things that concern me as far as them reaching championship potential.
Look, Paul, after game one, I get it, right? You say Porzingas went for the 30, you know, but was it because he was playing against one of his former teams in New York that disrespected him and moved him on to Dallas? So he goes in there and he feels okay because there's nobody on the Knicks bench or on the floor as big as him. So now he gets to dominate with his size. When I look at big picture situations, when you talk about this is your team and you got him coming out of the East, what happens when he goes up against a Giannis? Can he continue to play like this the entire year? Okay, we know Tatum can do those sort of things and give you some stuff. We saw Brown. We certainly feel good about the Jrue Holiday acquisition, but Porzingas, right? Is he going to be this Porzingas? You got Joel Embiid and I almost called it San Francisco because y'all got me thinking about the Niners. Philadelphia. Is he going to do the same thing in Miami against Bam when you get bigger guys that now you have to challenge and go up against? That's my only concern as I had with you yesterday about Porzingas. Is just saying, you know, I know he's cool and he's played well of late and things of that nature. He was a shell of himself from his years at the Knicks when he went to Dallas. It didn't work out, so they moved on from him because he didn't give them what they thought. Now you get him with the Celtics, and maybe Tatum and Brown can encourage him to play a certain way, but I still have a little reserve because I want to see you do it against the top dogs within your conference that you're going to have to challenge to get out of the conference. Can he do that?
No, he don't have to do that. That's the beauty of this team. He doesn't have to go for 30 versus Giannis and Embiid because we have other players who can step up. I mean, look, you still got Jaylen Brown who didn't play well. It's going to be by committee, Key. Let me tell you, when you have these type of weapons on your team, you know, they asked me, could I do it every night when I had Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen? I was like, maybe, maybe not, but it's going to be by committee. There's going to be nights it's going to be Brown who has 30, and Porzingas gets you 10 or 15 points and 10 rebounds, or Jrue Holiday has a big game, or Derek White has a big game, so it's no pressure on him on this team. He's really the third, fourth option. And for him to give you 30 on any given night, he could be the first option. That's a huge plus for the Celtics.
Are you confident in Joe Mazzulla, though? Are you confident
I think he has a year under his belt. He's able to build out his assistant coaching staff, added Sam Cassell. I think that was huge for the Celtics, bringing in a player that other players can respect, who has a championship pedigree, and that's something I think that was needed in the playoffs last year that they didn't have when they lost Damon Stoudemire and a few coaches in the middle of the season.
So, Keyshawn, those are good and fair questions you raise about Porzingas and about Joe Mazzulla. But Porzingas has always rim protected at a high level and gotten little to no credit for it because he's averaged 2 blocks a game for 10 years. It's hard to get 2 a game, and he got 4 last night against a smaller team. I give you that. But he is 7 feet 3 inches long and tall, and he's got some Wembanyama. Will Victor end up being better than he is? You would certainly hope so. But that shot that Paul talked about, you want to talk about clutch, because this is a tie game shot with 1:29 left, and he steps out and shoots it from 27 feet, so it's about 3 feet beyond the three-point line, if we could see it. And it was a thing of beauty because he can stroke it like Wemby can. They're kind of the same type of player. Yeah, that was cold-blooded, man. And yet, On the defensive end, Paul didn't mention defense, but this team, listen, it's the best defensive team because it added one of the best defensive players in Jrue Holiday. Because in the end, when I look at what the Knicks didn't do last night, Julius Randle went 5 of 22. And guess who guarded him much of the game? Jrue Holiday guarded him. And then in the fourth quarter, Jrue was switching off on Jalen Brunson, who wound up 6 of 21. But in the fourth quarter, Jalen Brunson is clutch, man. He's got a big heart in a small body. But he went 1 of 6 in the fourth quarter. And then on that final shot of the game, this was vintage Jrue Holiday. If we could see that last possession, the inbounds, watch Jrue Holiday just cut him off at the pass. He just says, no, you can't come over here. You cannot come over here. I'm not going to let you get to your left hand, because if he gets to his left hand, he's going to get you.
Right.
And he forced him to turn completely back around and go back to the offhand, and there you go. That's the end of the game. Jrue Holiday is going to change your defensive. Yes. Not that Marcus Smart won the Defensive Player of the Year, but Jrue Holiday is a playmaker on both ends of the floor. Man, he had a big steal late. Anyway, your team is it is really good.
The only concerns you have to be a little concerned with the bench. You know, that's one of the concerns when we made these trades. It thinned out our bench. You know, so you're going to have nights where they don't produce, and they didn't produce last night. But that's okay. In the long run, I feel like Peyton Pritchard, once he gets more minutes, he'll be able to knock down shots. Hauser, he'll be able to knock down shots. He's not going to go 0 for every night. You know, he's going to get his rhythm with this new ball club, with these new additions to where they're going to find him in his spots, and that's something I'm not going to be concerned of. Now, you don't know who a team really is until after, like, the first 20, 25 games. And so they're still getting their feet wet. They're still learning one another, and we'll see guys get into a rhythm around there, and then we can give a better judge about where they're going to be, who they are.
But the depth is important. You mentioned it, right? You can't get 12 points from your bench. Bench should give you more than 12, especially if you are going to remove certain guys out of the starting lineup to spare them, to give them rest, whatever the case may be. Those guys, and Al Horford and Pritchard and Hauser and them, they've got to step up. Well, what did we talk about with Phoenix prior to the acquisitions? True. Oh, they're bench. Yeah, they got a front line with KD and Book and what. But what about the bench? What about the guys that have to come in a reserve role? What are they going to be able to do? Because when you look at other teams, when you look at the Milwaukees of the world, or you even look at Atlanta, whatever in the East, they got a little better benches. They got a little bit of better, just a little bit better. So that's the thing, much like you just said, Paul, that would concern me as well. If something were to happen to somebody in the front line, then where you go?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're a little short in their big position. They can use a little depth at the center position, but, you know, you got to figure out your team first. Like I said, give them 20, 25 games and then see where you're at.
And allow me to cap this off by saying to my man Spike Lee and my man Stephen A., both Knicks diehards forever and ever, I felt sorry for both of you last night, because the Knicks are still the Knicks. They missed 12 free throws last night, and you just can't do it. You're right there. You're making your case that you're right there with the Celtics, and then you're not.
No.
You're just not.
When was they ever making a case that they was with the Celtics?
Last night they were right there to
we took our foot off the gas.
Even if they won that game, Skip, the Celtics could have forfeited the game, and the Knicks still would be behind.
But it's opening night at the Garden. You got to win that one if you're serious business. If you're really that team, you got to make that statement. And they missed 12 free throws. And in the end, that's just
they high money guy is going to be
at the Celtics level. They got to make a move. They need another superstar player. If they want to be on the Celtics level, but they're going to be a middling team for most of the year with no threat to get to the conference finals. They're a first or second round team at best. And they overachieved last year, you must admit. You know, Tibbs is getting the most out of it. He's squeezing all that orange juice out of that orange. I mean, he's squeezing. Mushing it together.
The highest paid player is Julius Randle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, Jalen Brunson's up there, but yeah.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson's their best player, but Julius Randle is their highest paid player, who, when you're the highest paid player, you're supposed to be the best player, I would think.
All right, so I mentioned Porzingas and Wemby. Let's get back to Wembanyama. Could you see him being better ultimately than LeBron or even Jordan? We're about to debate.
Just forget about Kareem and Kobe. y'all just go right to LeBron and Jordan.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.